Yeah. In last session we discussed about partitioning, mostly on partitioning part, which is most important one as far as performance tuning is concerned. Performance is concerned. So it will improve the performance of browsing the cube as well as, I mean, processing the cube also. So before jumping into the concepts, uh, keep in mind msbiguide.com, the URL that you are seeing on the screen is the place where you can find the videos. Okay, the videos of each and every session. Okay, let me start. So this is the cube solution we worked on in last session. Let me open it. So we created a couple of dimensions, you can see here, and created one cube, and for this we added a measure group and added dimensions to the cube. We process the cube, and this is the output of the cube, whatever we developed and designed. So most of the cases people have their own tools to browse the cube. Always they don't browse the cube from this browser. Browsing means, I mean, like going through what's the, I mean, analysis part, like drag and drop on measure group, and if you drag and drop an attribute, then it will be, it will retrieve the result based on the attribute you drag and the measure. So this is the output of a cube solution. The one you are seeing on the left hand side, the measures and the remaining dimensions is just the output of the project, SSAS project. So SSAS project will look similar apart from the number of dimensions and measures here. If it is a very big project, you will find some hundreds of measures here and too many measure groups like 5 to 10, and some 50 dimensions you can expect. And if it is a small project, you can expect like 10 dimensions and only 1 or 2 measure groups. Okay. Now, one important thing that everyone needs to know who is working on MSBI platform is how to browse the cube from Excel. Why you want to know this? Let me explain that first. Let's say this is your cube solution. That means the output of the SSAS project. So this can be used in SSRS, right, to generate the reports. So this is a static one. Generally, that means a report template will be designed the same format. Whoever logs in, they can see the report in the same format. But most of the clients are experts in Excel. They don't want to see the data in which is static, or the template is static in SSRS reports, right? So they don't love to see some static reports. They want to see some dynamic reports, just like here. From here, you can drag and drop something, whatever you want. You can drag and drop here or here, and you can see the data. So in the same way, I mean, here, if they don't want to see month-wise, they can simply drag and drop year-wise. It's their wish. However they want to analyze, they can easily do that. In the same way, if the guys use Excel, they will have the same functionality. I'm giving it as X. That means, let's say that is Excel. So using Excel, you can generate the reports dynamically. Whatever the things that you want, like on rows, columns, and measures. The advantage of using Excel is, one, you can drag and drop whatever you want, and next thing, you can save the Excel and share it with the other guys easily. And third thing, people, they are experts in Excel, as I said, and they can go for more calculations based on the data that is being pulled from the SSAS project. Let's say this is a AS project. From here, it will pull the data into Excel, and here they can have more calculations as per the requirement. It's all depends on the requirements of the user. So the easiest way for users who are experts in Excel is obviously the Excel. So they prefer to go for Excel. Let me tell you an example what happened in my last project. When I completed giving demo on SSAS project, I've given demo by showing the same on the browser of SSAS, that is what you are seeing in the screen right now. Okay, here. The clients asked me to take a demo on how to connect and use it in Excel. Why? Because they know only Excel. They don't know. They are not masters in this technology, or they are not masters in SSRS. And they don't want to see static reports most of the cases. Let's say their superior, his manager, users manager or clients manager came to him and asked, okay, I've seen some reports on SSRS platform where we're showing the data month-wise, but I want to see what is the week-wise sales, weekly sales. So the user or client can't ask us to generate a new report, right? So the best way is connect to Excel and give the report to the user or his manager who is asking for the report. So Excel plays a major role. This is one of the fantastic tool using which you can browse the SSAS cubes. Like Excel, there are so many tools and third-party tools we call it as. One is Dundas. This is pretty famous from last 10 years, I think. And XMLA, this is one good tool. So like that, there are so many third-party tools. If you browse Google, asking for the tools to browse SSAS cubes, then you will get lots and lots. Or you can generate your own tool, but it's not so easy. You can generate your own tool, even that one people will do. Okay, so like this, there are so many tools available on, even Excel is available and SSR is available, which helps us to view the data from SSAS. Now in this session, let's start with how to connect to Excel to see the data from SSAS solution. So you have to keep in mind that, okay, let me close this. I don't want to have this here. Okay, you have, let's say you have a cube that is already available, and it is already available in our server. Now let me take a new Excel and show you how to connect to the Excel, how to connect to the SSAS cube from Excel. For that, you have to open Excel sheet first. Here you have, so this is your Excel sheet. Now for connecting to SSAS cube, you have to go to data. Under data, you have many options here. From other sources, you have to pick, and from here, you have to select from analysis services. This is our source, analysis services. Here it is asking for server. Server in the sense where the SSAS cube is deployed and processed. Okay, where we deployed the SSAS cube here. If you want to know that, right click, go to properties. Here it will give you under deployment where the cube is deployed and what is the name of the database or cube. Okay, the cube is deployed in localhost, that means your local computer, and the database name given for the cube solution is MSBI. So what I have to give here, I have to give localhost server, and it always be Windows authentication for SSAS connections. Click on next. It is listing all the cubes that are available in the databases that are available in the server, whatever we have given. So there is only one database with the name MSBI. Fine. Under that, it has only one cube. What is this MSBI and what is this AdventureWorks DW? MSBI is the database name whatever I have given here. Okay, or you can find the same in the database name here. And this AdventureWorks DW is the cube name. You can have more than one cubes in one solution. That is one database. So right now I have only one cube, and this is the cube. So select that and click on next. You are almost all done. If you want to give any friendly names, you can give that. I don't want to give anything here. So click on OK. So it is asking what type of chart or workbook you want to take. Pivot table report or pivot chart or pivot table report, and pivot table report or only create connection. This is useless, and let's go for pivot table report where you can have table information, where you can analyze the data in a table format. So if you see on the right hand side, pivot table field list is there. On the left hand side, you have pivot table area. If I click here, the right hand side area is gone. Okay, that area will be available only for the pivot area, the area whatever you're selecting here. And now let's see what is present as part of this list. Have you seen this one anywhere? The one what you're seeing on the right hand side under pivot table field list. You're seeing fact and net sales measure group, due date, order date, product and ship date. Is nothing but the same whatever you have here. You can see fact and net sales, due date, order date, product and ship date. So we set the connection to the SSAS database successfully. Now, how to make use, how to see the reports, how to generate the reports here, how to generate the table reports and all. Let's see that now. Okay. If you see SSAS browser here, you have, when you don't have anything here, you have rows. That means whatever you want to see row wise, you have to drag and drop here. In the same way, you have columns. That means whatever you want to see in column wise, you have to drag here. And these totals and details, totals or detail fields nothing but your measures. So I drag the measure, and in product, I'm taking color. I'm taking color and dragged into the row fields. So it is splitting based on color. Now I'm taking class and dragging into columns. Now it is splitting based on class in the columns. Now this is the use of fields, rows and columns. And this filter part, if you want to filter anything, let's say there are some, we know there are so many products available. And if you want to filter and see the data for only one or two products, let's say adjustable race, AWC logo cap and blade, this one will give the data only for that particular product selected. Now I selected a couple of products, and these products belongs to multicolor, and class is nothing. Class is blank. It does not have any class, and the sales amount is $19,688.1. So this is the different fields you have in the SSAS Cube browser. Now let's see this. Let's see Excel sheet. You can find filter. The alias one for filter, you can see report filter here. The one what you have seen on top, drop filter fields here. So in the same way you have report filter. Drop column fields here. In the same way you have column labels. Drop rows and drop details, you have rows and labels. This is similar to the Cube browser, whatever we have. Let's see how to drag and drop. Take it, drag and drop into the measures. This is a measure. So drag and drop it into the measure, and you can see the pivot table area, it is showing the value of the measure. Now what I've done there, I've selected color into the rows. So drag and drop into the rows so that it will split based on the rows. And what I've done next, class into the columns, right? And then I have added English product name into the filter area. You can see the filter area is added on top, and here you can filter whatever you want. Let's say I want to see only AWC logo cap. This is the data for AWC logo cap product. And let's say I want to take chain. I think the data is null for this. No data present for, no sales for this chain. And let me take cone shaped race. So nothing there present for this particular product also. How to select multiple values in the filter part. You can check this option, select multiple items, and here you can select how many products you want. In this case, you can select it and click on OK. So that none of the products is having sales. Whatever the products I selected, none of the products is having sales. Let me select all the products. So this is how you can use Excel to see the data from the cube. Okay. So now I have taken a pivot chart. Okay. And it has taken the same colors, rows and items, whatever I've dragged here. You can see report filter part, its product, access field, its color, and legends it is so and so, values is sales amount, and you can see the chart here. And if you want to change the chart type, you can right click, change the chart type, and select whatever you want. So this is how you can make use of charts, and we will come back to these charts a lot. I mean, we have to discuss a lot about these charts, and we'll come back to that. Why I'm explaining about this SQL, I mean Excel connection, I mean connecting to SSAS cube through Excel. There is a reason behind this. We are going to discuss about perspectives and translations today. And perspectives, uh, you need to know the difference between normal cube and perspective, so which you can easily find out in Excel. The better way of finding the difference between cube and perspective is Excel, and also the translations. Let's see. So let's go back. We are done with the connection from Excel to SSAS cube. Now, in last session we discussed about these partitions, and in this session we're going to discuss about these perspectives and the translations. First, let's start with perspectives. What is a perspective? This is an important, pretty important interview question. Why? Because if they take cube, how the interviewer will go is he will start from here. He will ask a couple of questions from cube structure. Similarly, dimension usage. Mostly, you can expect relationships type questions on relationship types from dimension usage, and then calculations, KPIs, actions as one set. These three are very close, and partitions and aggregations as one set he treats, and perspectives as a separate concept, and translations as a separate concept. So these two are two different concepts, and you can expect good number of questions, okay, from these two. And let's see what is a perspective first. Perspective is nothing but a subset or a subcube, or you can call it as a slice of a cube. Let's say you have a cheese piece. Let's say this is your cheese piece. If you want to split and give it to the, let's say, I mean, you are preparing a sandwich, butter sandwich, and you need to add some part of cheese to the butter sandwich. What you will do, you will slice it, you will take this part and you will apply to the bread. And if the bread is pretty big, you will take this part and you will apply, right? What you are doing, you are slicing it and you are giving the required piece for the required job. In the same way, let's say this is your cube, pretty big cube, where you have 50 dimensions and 30 measure groups, lot of measures, okay? And there are a couple of users. They don't want all the shit that you have in the cube. They don't want to carry all the burden that you have in the cube. So they want only two measures and one dimension. In that case, what you can do? You cannot create a new cube, right? What you can do is you can slice the cube and give the part that is required for them. For better example, let me do one thing. Let me make this cube a bit bigger one. So for that, I have to add a couple of dimensions. Let me do that first. So let me add, team product is already there. Currency, let me add. And let me add the next dimension, that is sales territory. And finally, let me go with customer. Okay. And also I have one more, that is promotion. Let me add that one too. Team promotion. Next, select all. Next, and finish. Now I have a good number of dimensions here. Let me add all the dimensions to the cube. So currency, customer, promotion, sales territory, and product test. So now what I have to do? I have to add more measures into the fact table. So for that, I have to delete the existing one. Easiest way of adding more measures and select the fact internet sales table. In the same way, I would like to select product table 2. So if I process this one will become a little bit bigger cube. There will be so many dimensions and a couple of measure groups. Now, let's say you have two users. One user wants the complete cube. Like he wants to see the data or analyze the data based on all the dimensions you created and based on all the measures you have created. But there is one more user who has limited access, who don't want all these things, who is not at all worried about all the stuff that is happening in the cube. He just want to have only customer wise sales. He just want to know only customer wise sales. So in that case, what is his requirement? His requirement is only customer dimension and sales measure group. But if you give everything, what is going to do? It is of no use for that guy. So whenever such requirement comes to you, like a particular user wants to see a piece of cube or a slice of cube, then you can work on perspective and provide a perspective to the respective user. That is the use of perspectives. Perspectives are nothing but slicing the cube or giving subset of the cube. You are not giving the complete cube to the user. You are giving a subset of the cube based on the requirements. Okay. Let's see how to create a perspective here. So creating perspective is one of the easiest. I can call it as this is the easiest. There is nothing else which is easier than this one in SSAS part. Let's see how to create a perspective. Let's say one of you guys is my user and you requested for customer wise sales. You want to see customer wise sales. Okay. For that, creating a perspective, you have to use this button. You can see new perspective option here. 1 second. You can see if you click on this, a new perspective name, a new column is added. Here, let me add my client name. I work with so many clients. Let me add one of the client name. Vincent. He was my client. So this guy want to see only customer wise sales. So he don't want products, right? All the attributes. This is the dimension and all the attributes. Everything is unchecked. Why? Because he don't want to see product wise. Now he don't want ship date wise. Ship date dimension you don't want. You don't want due date. You don't want order date. You don't want currency dimension. He want customer and he don't want promotion. He don't want sales strategy and he don't want product test dimension. This is what he want from the dimension part. In this dimension, he don't want all this stuff. He don't want geography key. He don't want this. He just want first name, middle name, and last name. He don't want name style. If you don't want, if let's say this is the requirement of the user, and you don't want birth date, suffix, and you don't want email address. So I've selected only the attributes from the dimension that I want. As per my user requirements, I have selected only those particular attributes. Or let's say complete dim customer dimension. And from the measure groups, his requirements is not to see any data that is related to product. His requirement is to see fact and the net sales, sales amount, and tax amount. So he wants sales amount. So check this. He wants tax amount. So check this. That's it. This is perspective. This is the perspective as per the requirement. Requirement as per the requirement means customer wise, you want to see sales and tax amount. Now, whenever you create perspectives, you don't need to process. Okay, you just deploy the cube. That is more than enough. Now it is deploying the cube. Let it deploy. Now it is ready to process, but I don't need to process whenever I create a perspective or altered a perspective. So I just deployed. Now to see the perspectives you created, you can go to the cube browser, reconnect it. So here there is an option called perspective. Under perspective, you have two things now. One is AdventureWorks DW and another one is Vincent. What is AdventureWorks DW? AdventureWorks DW is nothing but the cube we developed. Every cube is a perspective by default. Perspective, okay? And the new perspective is whatever you created with the name Vincent. And if you go to the perspectives tab, you can see a default one AdventureWorks DW is there. That is the cube whatever you define. And the other one is with the name Vincent, whatever you created. Now, let's go to the browser. This is the AdventureWorks DW, which will have the complete information about all the dimensions and all the measure groups. So, whenever you select that particular perspective, you can see all the measure groups and all the dimensions. Now, I'm going for Vincent perspective, and you can see only the measure group and the measures that I selected is present, and only the dimension attributes that I selected are present in the particular perspective. So this perspective is helpful in creating in slicing the cube and giving the piece of the cube as per the requirements of the user. Okay, if the user want to see only this particular stuff, you can simply give that. Why to have all unnecessary stuff on his head so that he will get confused? Okay, and now let me take another sheet. How to connect to the perspective from Excel. So same stuff, go to the data. From analysis services, I'm giving the server name, localhost, and I'm selecting the cube database name, that is MSBI. Here you can see the cube is there as well as the perspective whatever I created just now. So the name is Vincent. So let me select this, as my intention is to connect to the perspective I have created, and click on finish. This time pivot chart and table. So this is for table and this is for chart. And on the right hand side, you can see the measures I selected, right? And the dimension I selected. Super good, right? So this is how you can connect to the perspective. I'll take the gender as columns so that it will be even better to see. So this is how you can create perspectives, alias slice of the cube, alias subset of the cube, and this is how you can connect from the Excel sheet. And it's very important concept. Whenever people, let's say you work on pretty big cube and you made a small fix on a dimension. The testers, if you provide only that particular dimension and the measures they want to see, they have to see, then it will be easy for the testers to test the cube. If you give the complete cube with 50 dimensions and 10 to 12 measure groups, it will be unnecessary headache on them. So perspectives, generally it will help us in avoiding the confusion and making the cube or the analysis solution pretty simple. And you can create different perspectives, and it is not like a particular set of limitation. There is no such limitation in creating perspectives. You can simply click on the button, give one more guy's name. Let's say this is the guy and you don't want to see this stuff, uncheck this. And whatever you want to see, you can check that particular information. And if you don't want to have this perspective, then select this, and you can see this button got enabled. Click on delete and click on OK. That's it. The perspective is deleted. Okay. Now let's go to the translations part. The next one. We have seen translations in dimensions in last sessions. So translations, what it will do, it will simply provide the globalization concept to your cube. Let's say everything is in English, right? You can see if I browse the cube here, you can see everything is in English. Half of the guys don't know English in the world. So how they can understand what is this? What is meant by dim currency? They cannot even read what is written there in English. So for such kind of people, these translations will be very, very helpful. What these translations will do is it will provide globalization concept to your cube solution. Let's say, this is your cube solution. Okay. And now I want to provide a cube similar cube for Russian people. Russian people, they don't read. I mean, they can't read English. They can't understand English. Only 1 in 100 knows English there. So for them, it will be always better, always helpful if you can provide the same stuff in Russian language, right? So for providing such kind of things, the translations is the best bet we have in SSAS. So how to create a translation for a particular language? Translation means it's gonna get translate from English to the other stuff. So to create a translation similar to perspective, you have two buttons. One is new translation, another one is delete translation. If you click on new translation, and it will ask for which language you want to you are gonna create the translation. Let me go for Russian, where I have to search for that now. Russian, Russia. Here it is. Okay. A text box, or I can say one column, is created next to the object type. So what you have to do here is the translations is pretty simple, just like creating perspective. What you have to do is what is the Russian name for this particular stuff. For every item that is present here, what is the Russian name? That's what you have to give. So even I don't know the Russian name. So what you can do is either you can ask to provide the complete details in Russian language, or you can make the help of, you can take the help of Google. So I mean, I don't know what happened. This is in Hindi. Let me go to google.com. You can see under more, you can find translate option. Select this translation, and from English, let's copy stuff here. AdventureWorks DW, what I want to get in Russian language. Let me copy this and paste it here. I want to translate it to Russian language. Where is Russian? Here it is. So this guy will translate the stuff into Russian. Let's see. So I think this is Russian language. Okay. So what I have to do is I have to copy it and paste it in the text box that is next to the name whatever you have given. Now I'm gonna go for fact internet sales. Let me type the same here and the same Russian language value text is this one. So copy it here. Now next one is revision number. So let me copy revision number here, and this is the Russian language text for the same. So copy next to the this particular thing, and let me take the sales amount, which is most frequently used one, what people call it in Russian language. So this is sales amount. So copy it here, and tax amount. So this is tax amount. So this is how, what you have to do is you have to take the different language. I mean, for example, if you select the Russian here, what is the Russian name for each and every attribute or measure or dimension name that is available. Okay. And once it is done, then you can click on save and deploy the project. That's it. The Russian language translation is ready. But what the case for the items that you have not specified the Russian language? If you don't specify anything, then it will return the value that is present in the default language. The default language is English here. So as I have not given for unit price, if you see the cube, it will be in English language. So what you have to make sure is you have to make sure for each and every line item you have provided the appropriate text in the desired language. Okay, and this is fine. You can create for cube, for measure group name, and also for the measures. But if you see, you can create only for dimension names here. You don't have for attributes, right? You're not able to write for attributes. So how to give translation names for attributes too? How can you do that? Let me show you that. Here I've given for cube name, measure group name, measures names, and also for dimension names. For attributes, there is a translations page added in the dimensions itself. If you go to the dimension, particular dimension, that is product, you can see a translations button here where you can give the translations for all the attributes and the hierarchies if there are any. Let me go to Russian, selected, and let's say product is called like this in Russian language. Let me give some dummy data. I cannot copy and paste everything now, which will take some time. You can practice it at home whenever you are working on it. So let's say this is, we call color as this. Now everything is set. Let me deploy and process the cube once. So the translations is mainly used to provide the to translate your cube into different languages based on the requirements. So if in a cube, it is not meant for only one particular set of people, right? People who knows only English. It's not like that. People who knows Russian language, they may not be aware of the other languages. So you have to provide the cube in different languages, and hence this translations is the best bet for the same. Let me process it and we demonstrate the same in browser. So process. So the process is completed. Let me close it and go to the browser of the cube. So let me close this deployment wizard too. Let me go to the cube, and in the browser, this is, let me reconnect it once as I process the cube now. You can see next to the perspectives you have language part. Under language, for which language we have to create the translation. Now we have created for Russian language, so what I have to do is, if I select Russian language, it will show the cube in Russian language. Now I selected it, it's reprocessing. You can see the Russian language is in picture, and under measures you can see the Russian language. For the values, whatever I have not given, it is showing in the default language, that is English. So what you have to make sure, that each and every line item has its appropriate value in the different languages that for which you are creating the translations. That means you should not keep any blanks like this. You have to provide names for each and every item that is present here, so that the cube will be 100% complete, and for different languages. This is about perspectives and translations. What you can do is you just practice creating couple of perspectives. I don't think that's a big task. It's a matter of minutes or sometimes seconds. And creating translations, it will take some time. Why? Because you have to take the help of Google to find out each and every value in that particular language, in that particular language for which you are creating translation, and then see how it looks. Okay. And this is not the one which you will use always. Let's say I deployed my cube in some server which is present in USA. And how can I go and change it always there? You don't need to change this particular language. Set this one to default. Okay. Set this one to default. And if your language settings of your system or if your OS is changed, then automatically this one will be taken in that particular language. Let's say your OS is installed. While installing your OS, if you have selected Russian or Hungarian language or Chinese language, then if there is any translation for Chinese language, it will take that one into picture, or else it will show in the default language. So based on this language settings of your OS, it will be changed automatically. Now, most of the guys, they will ask the question, what is the difference between partitions and perspectives? So partitions and perspectives are entirely different. Partitions will tell you how your fact table is gonna be stored in your analysis services server. Okay. Partitions talks about how to store. Perspectives talks about what needs to be given. It won't bother about how the storage is done, how the data is stored. Perspective, it's just a virtual one. It's like a view. The shortest definition for perspective is it's a view of a cube where you will select the measures or the dimensions attributes that you want to show to the user or for which you want to give permissions to the user, and you can hide the remaining one, right? That's the functionality of the view. What view will do in database? View generally, it will hide the unwanted columns and it will provide the wanted columns to the user. In the same way, the perspective, whatever you want, you can select that particular list and provide the information to the you provide the cube to the user so that they can analyze their requirements or their business. Now, let's jump into the last topic for the day. We have a solution file. Whenever you create a new project, okay, one solution will be created. Let me close this and show you where the solution is present. Under projects, I have given path as desktop. That's why it has created in desktop. This is the solution file, and if I open it, the project will open and I can start working on the project. Okay. Let's say you move this solution to the production. The solution is deployed in the production and clients are using it. You don't have the solution file, let's say. You don't have the solution file at all. Imagine. Then in that case, if you get an issue, how you will fix the issue? To fix the issue, you don't have the solution. Let me delete it straight away. I deleted it. I don't have that solution now. You can see in my desktop, I have only projects folder, and you can see no solution present in the folder. Why? Because I deleted it. No project file. But I deployed the solution. I deployed the project in the production, and production guys has raised some bugs or some issues saying that, Rupesh, this is a problem we are facing in the production cube. Can you fix that? So how can I do that without having the solution file here? So this is the most frequently faced problem in real time. Like whenever, they won't give you the solution file. They will say only in the particular production cube who have the issue. What I'm trying to say here is how to connect to the cube that is deployed into the server. So if you want to see the cube that is deployed into the server, go to the SQL Server Management Studio. As you all are aware of it, you can connect to SSAS cubes that you deployed from here. You have to select Analysis Services, provide the server name, localhost in our case, and connect. You can see this is the database which we deployed. You can see one data source view, one cube, whatever we created. Under the cube, we have two measure groups. One is dim product and fact internet sales. And you can see the remaining stuff like dimensions that we created in the cube solution. Now, as per the requirement, they want to remove some attributes from here. How can you do that? From this particular dimension product text, how can you do that? So for doing so, take a new business intelligence development studio. Instead of going to the file new, go to the open. And if the project is solution file exists, then you can select this and browse to the particular folder. But I deleted it. I don't have anything here. So the next way of connecting analysis service project is go to open, select analysis services database. If you click on this, it will ask for what is the server name. My server name is localhost where my cube is deployed, and there is only one database. Select that and click on OK. So what this guy will do is, this guy will open the database or the cube. Now, as per the requirements, they asked me to remove a couple of attributes from here. Let's say these are the attributes. I deleted it, and now I can deploy it back. If I process it, the new changes will be applied to the SSAS cube solution, cube database that is present in the server. So this is how, if you don't have solution file, this is how you can fix the issues. Now, if you go to the properties, the only difference between solution file and this one is, in solution file, if you right click and go to the properties, what you will get? You will get where you want to deploy and what is the deployment path and what is the database name, what is the server and what is the database name. But here it is already predefined. You cannot change it. You can only process it. You cannot deploy it into the new server. If you process, only in the server where it is already present will be processed. If it is a solution, then it is entirely different case. You can give a new server, new database name and deploy it. But here it is not the case. Here it will be entirely processed back to the same server, to the same database present in the server. You can only process after making the changes. But this is the worst case. The best case is always maintaining the latest solution with you guys. Latest solution will be maintained in the server. It won't be lost. But in case if you don't have a solution and if you need to make some urgent fix, then in that case, this is how you can open the Cube database using Bits solution. And once again, I'm repeating, you have to go to File, Open, go to Analysis Service Database, give the server name. In our case, it is localhost. And next, you can select the database and click on OK. That one will be created. That one will be open. So, this is how you can read the cube that is deployed in a particular server to make some fixes as per the requirements. Okay, that's it for today, and we will catch with more concepts in next session.